These figures point to the need, Madam President, for substantial transformation in our economy. Not little bits and pieces, not a string of pretty jewels, but actual, consistent, and complex, integrated projects and programs and structural reform that is really going to change the basis of how we live and how we earn our keep. Right now we are applying tax upon tax upon tax. The service charge, the levies, the duties, they're compounded. And that is how we get effective duty rates of up to 60% on regular everyday goods. We have to stop that because we are crippling growth in a world where average tariffs are coming down and ours are going up. That's an old colonial strategy of taxing the natives, extracting and transferring wealth out of these islands to other places. We have to stop that. Policymakers estimate that only 15 cents of each tourism dollar remains in the local economy. If so, we need to identify where the other 85 cents is, reduce that leakage, reduce it over time, over the next 5 years. That would give our people a greater sense of ownership in this conspicuously expensive lead sector into which we pour so much public support by way of incentives and land and other assets.
If we look at the hotel sector, for example, we have several foreign-owned hotels. I'm not sure how their contribution to GDP is measured, but we are aware that the structure of these hotels is such that most of the revenue generated by them end up being booked overseas. What reaches the banking sector here, what reaches our economy, is that minuscule amount which is used to pay wages and to do maintenance on island. Is it therefore possible that over the years we have not been calculating GDP accurately to reflect really what is generated by those large hotels?
What has happened in COVID? COVID has exposed the tourism sector, and I'll tell you why. When the first shutdown happened, in which our local economy was also shut down, the curfew and the significant restrictions, the coffers of the government were immediately affected. The Prime Minister came and he talked about a significant drop in revenue to the government. When the local economy was reopened and you had still a limited capacity in your tourism sector, the coffers of the government went up to, I think they said 85% of the levels that that they were before. And it said something significant. It said that the contribution of tourism to the coffers of the government are less than what we have been told. And that the activity in the local market, in the local economy, is a more significant contributor to the revenue of the government than the tourism sector. And it created an interesting scenario for our economists, and I hope they do the research, to begin to research what really happened in the economy during the COVID. How, because you had an excellent time where you took out tourism from the economy and see how it impacted. And I really believe we need to begin to do some research to see that, that component. So that when we hear these nice comments about, we have the tourism sector has brought in $1 billion in revenue, or when a cruise ship comes in, so much dollars are spent, right? I don't know how they do it, but that particular exercise within the field of economics is critical at this point in time. It's an interesting analysis to see what really was the impact.